Okay, good evening, Professor David J. Delos Reyes. Okay, my topic for this discussion will be inverse functions, and this is the study of algebra. Okay, let's proceed. I will try to give you an example problem just to understand the concept of inverse function. Okay, problem, this will be under inverse function. Find the inverse of the equation, meaning given function of x. The given function of x is a function of x is 3 minus 4x. We are asked to find for the inverse is designated by f with the power negative 1 close quantity x equal to. This is read the inverse function of x. So if function of x is 3 minus 4x, what will be the inverse function of this? Okay, let's try to bring out the solution. There are 5 steps on how to bring out the inverse of any given function. Step number 1. Replace f of x by a variable y. From here, we replace this by y. So y will now be equal to 3 minus 4x. Step number 2. Interchange x and y. Meaning for x, replace it by y, and for y, replace it by x. This is y. We replace it by x. And this should be equal to 3. 3, we don't touch it. There is no variable thing connected with it. Okay, minus 4. And this 6 here, we must have to replace it by y. So this should now be equal to y. Step number 3. Solve for y. Solve for y. Right? Solve for y. We place this one on the left, so it will now be for y. And this should be equal to the right hand side, we maintain 3. We transpose x to the right, so this should now be negative x. So for y will be 3 minus x. To compute for y, we must have to multiply all terms by 1/4. Right? So left hand side, this for here, cancel with this. What remains will be y equal to, for the right hand side, we don't have to distribute it. We will just place 1/4 as a coefficient. So this is 1/4 times the quantity 3 minus x. Oh, that's step number 3. Step number 4, we'll replace y by f prime of x. We got a y here, and we replace it as simply f prime of x, the one we are looking for. So instead of writing y, we replace it by f prime of x. Oh, hold on. F to the negative 1. Negative 1 of x. So f to the negative 1. Negative 1. Right? This was y originally. According to step number 4, we replace y by f to the negative 1 of x. So f to the negative 1 of x, my ink, minus 1, that's minus 1, right? So f to the negative 1 of x should be equal to, the right hand side, I will just copy it, 1/4 of the quantity 3 minus x. This is already our answer. Because from the definition of inverse function, if f of x is this, f to the negative 1 is actually the inverse of this. So the inverse of the given function 3 minus 4x is actually 1/4 times the quantity 3 minus x. Okay, let's try to verify if this answer here is correct. Step number 5, verification. Verification meaning if we try to replace this value here back to the given original equation, okay, what will come out will be x. That's the definition of inverse variation. If we substitute the inverse value on the given original function of x, what will come out should only be x. So f, I'm following this, okay? then I will try to replace x. We try to replace x by the value 1/4 times the quantity 3 minus x. Because this value here is actually f to the negative 1 of x. Because according to the concept, if we substitute the value of the inverse function back to the given original equation, what will come out? What will come out will still be x. Okay, let's try to substitute. So f, the specified value now will be the computed value of f prime of x, and this should be equal to. We'll follow this equation, and we will replace all x by this value here. So this is 3 minus 4, open bracket. The computed value of the inverse function is actually 1/4 times the quantity 3 minus x. Right? Open bracket, close bracket, this is quantity. So actually, this 4 here, cancel with this. So what will remain will just be simply 3. This will now be 1. So negative 1 times 3 will be negative 3. And negative 1 times negative x will be plus x. And 3 minus 3 actually cancels. So after the substitution and simplification, what comes out is x. Okay? And according to the concept of inverse variation, if after the substitution of the so-called inverse value, if what come out is x, the answer is correct. So this is okay. Okay, good evening from Los Angeles, Professor David J. DelosReyes.